Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be working on some more engine stuff, trying to get all this stuff ready to put back in the car. Right now I'm cleaning the transmission off. If you remember how black this thing was when I took it out the car, put a picture of it right here. But it took a good 2 hours to clean this. I used some brake clean, a lot of scrub brushes. So it's pretty clean compared to what it was. So I'm pretty happy with that right now. Also, I went ahead and taped off the head really well, and I ended up painting it. So that's looking good so far. So right now we're just going to be waiting for the transmission to dry, and then we're going to tape that up, and then we're going to spray that. But in the meantime, we're going to start putting this head together a little bit more. We're going to throw the cams and get the time belt on. Alright, so the first thing I did was rotated the engine so all the pistons are down, or pretty much like in the middle. So I just took a long screwdriver and kind of measured it, so that way when I put the cams in and try to get those lined up straight, it doesn't press against anything. So I'm going to use the assembly lube and lube up where the cams go. I'm going to take the cams, I'm going to wipe those down with brake clean and then lube those also, and then we'll set those in here and then get the caps on. Alright, so I have two of the cam covers on. I just wanted to mention, when you do put this little dowel pin in, there is a O-ring that's supposed to go right there. This is the part number. So just make sure you put that on before you put that center cam cap on. Alright, so I have the 3 middle cam caps on, and the screws on the cam rail just hand tightened. I didn't even use a socket, and I use this K motor cam holder so I can break these cam bolts loose, because we're going to change the seals. So basically this holds it in place, and I'll just put these up here so the cams don't jump out while I try to use the 14 to get these out. So that works pretty well. So I'm going to take these off now, and then we'll have access to the cam seals. So the cam seals off. Just make sure when you take the cam gear off, don't drop the little keyway that sits right here, just like the crank. So this is the part number for the cam seal. Just make sure you take a little bit of oil and rub it on the inside so it slides on a lot easier. And then we'll start to put this thing back together. We are replacing the factory cam gears with these Fidenza cam gears. That's the part number, if you could even still find these. But basically, if you look in here where the keyway is, these cam gears can only go on one way, so you can't put them on wrong. So once you get those in, tighten this up. I'm going to use that K motor tool again, and I'll put the torque spec right here for these. Alright, so I kind of forgot to film, but anyway, cam gears are on. I'm pretty sure that was the last part that I filmed, telling you the torque specs for these. So the rails are on. I have my cam plug seal on there. Before I put this in, I put some RTV around there. So for the rails, I'll post up the torque sequence. So for the torque, I found two different websites that had conflicting information. One said 19, one said 20. So I did mine at 19.5 for all the 12s. And then the 10 millimeters, I did it at 9 foot-pounds. I also did these at 9. So I just spun the cam with a wrench. They spin fine. But I'm kind of running out of time because I got to go to work soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hurry up and come out here and tape off the transmission because it's pretty much dry. I want to hurry up and pull the speed sensor. I don't really care about the seals because they're getting replaced before this goes back in the car. We'll tape off the VIN plate, tape off this little vent thing right here, and then tape off the reverse signal thing. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll show you this once I get done spraying it. So here's the transmission, first coat. Looks okay so far. They were out at a VHT aluminum paint, so I bought some Duplicolor, and I really don't recommend that paint is trash. If you stand like a foot away and try to spray it, it'll, like, too much comes out, it runs. So you have to stand like 4 feet away from whatever you're painting for it not to run. So you have to do like, this is like a half can for one coat, because you have to spray from so far away. But I have to go to work in like 20 minutes, so this is probably just going to sit out here and bake in the sun all day, and then tomorrow I'll do a couple more coats. I'll go back to the store, see if they have any more VHT, or go to a different store just to do the top coat, because the duplicate color is trash. It's the next day. This is like the 3rd coat of paint on the transmission. So in the last clip I was telling you, don't use this duplicate color. This is shit. This is the one that you want to get. So that's looking pretty good. So now we're going to change out the oil pump seal right here. So what I did is I just took a pick, and you gotta be very careful not to scratch the mating surface on this. So I basically just put this in here and kind of wiggle it out, and that's it. So I'm gonna clean up the mating area a little bit with some brake clean and a rag, and then I'll install the new one the same way I did the cam gear seals. Alright, so the cam seal's on back there. I have the, I guess, timing gear lined up to the little tick on here. It's a top dead center. I have the screwdriver just to verify it. I use the K-motor cam gear holder. So these are top dead center. If you look, the little lines are marked up with the head on both sides. So I have a different video how to do a timing belt, so I'm just going to hurry up and throw this on, and then we'll check the timing. One thing I did forget to do was put on this rear timing cover. Timing belt's on. It's in time. I rotated the engine 3 times just to make sure. I trimmed down, across, and back up. There's kind of a line that I just followed. I did that because I didn't want to have to take off the cam gears again, because the plastic cover has the loops that go around it. So that should be just fine. So right now I'm going to put on the front cover for this side, and I'm going to put on the lower cover, and I'm going to just slide the crank pulley on there for the time being. So crank pulley's back on, timing cover's all the way back on. I got the dummy valve cover on there. It's starting to look like a motor. Pretty excited. So right now I have to build a box to go around the bottom of the motor, because it's awesome to build this motor on a porch, but I need to get the motor down these steps. So I need to get that motor down the steps. So that's why I'm not going to bolt on any of the accessories, to try to keep this thing light as possible, even though it's pretty heavy right now. So I'm thinking about building a 2x4 frame around the bottom, because on the dolly I have, if you look at the motor this way, where the bell housing of the transmission bolts up over here, it sticks out a little bit further, and it kind of hits the wheel of the dolly. So I'm thinking if I build the 2x4 frame out as wide as that, or a little bit wider, when I put it on the dolly, it won't hit that at all. So let me get some 2x4s and start trying to put this together. There are some things that I have to watch out for. This fitting on the front, and I'm not sure if this fitting on the back, if I'm going to have to notch the 2x4 or whatever, but we'll figure that out. This is what I came up with for the engine stand. So basically it's just a 2x4 rectangle, and then I have this part on the front to help clear where the bell housing mounts to the front of the engine. So across here we have 12 3/4, and this side is 19 3/4. The inside diameter is 8 1/4 by 16 3/4. Right here it's notched out for the turbo drain. If you don't have that, you could just go straight over, but this will be different for everyone's, but mine's 4 inches over. And then I have it notched right here for the crank pulley. So then down here I just added some extra 2x4s, this big section right here is to clear the dip in the oil pan. These two sit just fine. So I had to mangle up this 2x4 a little bit to get it to work. And then just put a flat piece of plywood on there. That way the dolly has a flat surface to sit on. So right now I'll put this up to the engine so you can see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like fitted on the engine. It actually fits really well, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty much going to wrap up the video. My plan is now to clean up this porch and get all the tools put away and get rid of all the trash from like the gaskets and stuff like that. But once I get that cleaned up, I plan on taking a cherry picker and lowering the engine onto that little engine stand that I made. So hopefully it'll be easier to take down the steps. Hopefully it doesn't kill me and break my back or something. But if you have any questions about anything I've done in this video, like always, feel free to leave it down at the bottom and I'll usually get back to you. If not, send me a message on one of the social medias. But until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.